Welcome to then another mastermind of Icons of Real Estate. This masterminds is something that we do once a month. We're bringing in experts from all sorts of types of field around real estate to make sure that you are doing the best you can in your real estate business.
About your property of 120.
And I forgot to put a mute to people. It's okay. And yeah, most of you probably know me, but I'll introduce myself again. My name is Tomás Fonseca, a Portuguese globetrotter slash podcast coach, and I'm here with Icons of Real Estate, the #1 real estate podcast network on the planet. And our special guest today is Ellen Pritchard. She's a LinkedIn expert. She's the CEO of Ellen, not the Ellen Show, the one with H and not the double L. And in this session, Ellen will reveal the proven strategies she's been using to help over 40,000 entrepreneurs and business owners to generate leads on LinkedIn, all right? And this is without sending a single DM. For my personal experience with LinkedIn, I thought LinkedIn was dead, okay? I used LinkedIn a lot a few years ago to go around my careers. I think we've all used LinkedIn in some way of kind of cold outreach, see if we can connect with people in terms of referrals, see if we can connect with people to get some deals. I've tried that. I've tried some automation tools as well with LinkedIn. But after a conversation with Ellen, it really opened my eyes to see the potential that this social media platform has, all right? At the end of the day, it is the biggest business-oriented social media platform that it is on the planet, all right? And Ellen today is going to help us to get the best out of it. So mic's over to you, Ellen, and welcome to our mastermind.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so yes, let me tell you what I'm not going to teach you today. I'm not going to teach you about how to run LinkedIn business pages or how to get the best out of LinkedIn groups or worried about what time to post, LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn automations. I'm not going to talk about any of those things because to me, they're the least useful things when it comes to LinkedIn. There's so many people out there that teach all of these kind of tips and tricks and hacks about how to use LinkedIn. But for me, I'm an old school marketer. I've been in marketing for a long time, let's just say, well over 20 years. And marketing never really changes. I know we all make a living out of getting people terrified about what's happening next and what we need to do next. And you've all got to buy our things so we can teach you what's coming up next with trends and stuff with marketers. But the truth is really, marketing is just about how can I get in front of new people, how can I engage with those new people, and how can I convert those new people into either clients or for sales or for another opportunity. Maybe you're looking for podcast guests or you're looking for deals if you're in property or if you're whatever it is. But LinkedIn is really bad at loads of things. So groups are terrible, business pages are hopeless. It's the DMing thing that people do is gross and people hate it. And it's just lost everybody. So let me know in the comments what you think and feel about LinkedIn, because the overarching feedback I get, having taught this for nearly a decade, is I don't really like LinkedIn. I'm on it, but I don't use it. All I get is spammed on there. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's full of people talking. I don't know how it is for language in here, but basically talking crap, who are writing stuff that makes no sense. And it's this kind of atmosphere and this environment I don't feel comfortable in. So therefore, I don't want anything to do with it. So the first thing I want you to take away from tonight is to suspend all of your beliefs and judgments about LinkedIn and really understand that your emotions and how LinkedIn makes you feel has no relevance on how it works. So LinkedIn doesn't care how you feel, but LinkedIn's just really good at one thing, which is bringing buyer and supplier together. It's just bringing people together. Yeah, so whoever the person is that you want to connect with, LinkedIn is great at creating a bridge between you and them. What it's terrible at is making you feel good. So it's not really, I don't really put it in a social media category, because all the others, if you like, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and particularly TikTok, it's like the crack cocaine of social media. It's designed to keep you on the platform. It's designed to make you feel good. It's designed to make you stay there. It's designed to give you a dopamine hit. Whether you're a consumer or a creator, it's kind of set up to make you feel something, to keep you on it, to keep you scrolling, keep you creating lots of rewards and both emotional and kind of like reach rewards and engagement rewards. Whereas LinkedIn cares not for any of that. LinkedIn's not interested in making you feel good. It's a business networking platform. It's the most boring, stale platform on the planet in a lot of ways, right? Because it's just not cool. It sometimes tries to bring things in, like it tried doing stories for a bit, you know, when Instagram were doing it, tried doing audio rooms for a bit when Clubhouse was doing it, tried doing groups when Facebooks were doing it. So they do all these kind of like features and things, but they never really land because LinkedIn's not a community-based platform. Nobody really hangs out on LinkedIn. And I don't want you to hang out on LinkedIn either. Like, I don't want you to be spending all day on LinkedIn. I don't know about you, but I have got like 4 teenagers, 2 cats, a dog, 4 businesses, 2 houses. I've got stuff to do. And I also like doing other things, you know, like lying flat, watching telly, like, you know, eating food, drinking wine. So to me, the last thing I want to be doing is spending all day on LinkedIn. So what I've done, I was on LinkedIn for about 10 years before I started teaching it. And I got all of my leads from LinkedIn. So all of my inquiries came to me on LinkedIn inbound without me sending any DMs. I didn't realize this was a thing until I met a guy at a networking event. And he was like, how are you getting all these clients? I had a marketing agency. I said, they come to me on LinkedIn. And he said, no, that's not how LinkedIn works. Like, what's your DMing strategy? Like, what tools are you using? Like, what are your scripts? And I was like, listen, strange man in a cheap suit, I don't have any of that. I just do these 3 things every day and people come to me. And he just wouldn't have it. And I literally wrote we were at like a golf club between the like northwest of England, picture of the Queen on the wall, you know, looking out, eating a cheap breakfast. And I was like, listen, this is what I do. I do these 3 things every day. 1, 2, 3, that's it. It takes me about 20 minutes and I don't even look at LinkedIn again. And he was like, never. Fast forward, anyway, off he went. Fast forward, bumped into him again, and he went, Helen, and I really do owe this man a pint. He said, Helen, guess what? And I was like, what? He said, I got a lead. I got an inquiry. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I've been on LinkedIn for years. I've got 10,000 connections. I'm always like doing stuff on there, and I've never ever had a direct inquiry from there. Like, he said, you should teach this. And to be fair, I took his advice and I've been teaching it ever since, because I can't believe that something can be so simple yet so mind-blowing to other people. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, just teaching people these 3 things to do every day. That's it. It's so simple. I did a session this morning and the girl on the call was like, it's so simple, it seems too good to be true. And I was like, trust me on this. I have trained so many people. Like, I've got a paid community of 2,000 people. I've got a free community of 20,000. I've got free 5-day challenge that 50,000 people have been through, blah, 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 right? I've been teaching the same 3 things. There's no secret. There's no like secret. You don't need to buy my program. You might want to buy my program, but you don't need to buy my program, because I'm going to tell you in the next 20 minutes exactly what to do. So let's go, let's do it. So the first most important thing on LinkedIn, and this is kind of what I'm moving into from a personal brand point of view, is getting really focused on ideal client stuff, but really understanding who the person you want to attract on LinkedIn. So not the company, not the organization, not this big sort of picture of the types of people you want to attract, but let's pick one person that you would love to bring into your world. And let's just focus on those for now, not forever. So for example, if you're in property, you're a property developer, for example, you might, well, yeah, I need deals, I need stock, I need investors, but what I'd love for you to do, or to take away, is just to pick one of those people for now and focus all your LinkedIn efforts on speaking to that one type of person. And when we know who that person is, all of my stuff works like a dream. When you are trying to sell to multiple people or engage multiple people or in multiple different ways for multiple different offers and services and things, then it just loses its magic. It still works, but it doesn't work as well and it doesn't work as fast. So the more specific, the more decisions you can make before you start using LinkedIn, the faster my strategies work, because it's aimed at engaging with one single person. Yes, obviously lots of versions of that person, but one single person. So what we do is we make a decision. We say, just for LinkedIn, just for now, just because Helen told me to, I'm just going to focus on attracting this one thing. So it could be podcast guests, it could be investors, it could be, but you get to decide, yeah? And you really decide in your heart and mind that this is the type of person that I want to connect with. And then, and only then, do we write our LinkedIn profiles. So the biggest thing that I realized when I realized that not everyone did LinkedIn my way was that everybody writes their LinkedIn profiles about them. And as we know, when we're selling, whether we're selling a deal or whether we're selling someone to come on our podcast, let's just use selling as a catch-all. But when we're selling to somebody and we want them to come towards us and invest their time or money in working with us, then it's not really about us, it's about them. So what I do is I write LinkedIn, or I ask you to write your LinkedIn headline and about section to be about them. 80% of it about them, 20% about you. I'll give you an example. So let's say I run a property podcast, for an example. I've not prepped any of this, by the way, so I'm just going to be winging it as I go. But let's say I've got an up and coming property podcast and I'm looking for guests for my podcast, right? And I want to land some big fish. Yeah, I want some big people, and I really want to get people in who have who are going to really benefit from being on my podcast as well as me benefit from them. So then I would write a headline and profile that talked to this potential guest and really told them who I'm looking for, what's in it for them, how I'm going to give the thing to them, and normally how much it would charge if I was selling a product or service, but most of you aren't charging maybe. So it's making it really clear in the headline. So just in case you're not familiar with LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you've got your header image. Now that you can have anything on there. I suggest you have a picture of yourself, some kind of logo and branding, and a strong call to action. So whether it's be a guest, whether it's invest in property, whether it's whatever, right? But have a really strong call to action as your header image, because that, we're visual people. So it's great that when people come to you, they see that thing first, when people come and land on your profile. So I want you to think like your profile, like a landing page for your ideal client. Does that make sense? Instead of like a CV for you. So it's a landing page, and it's about your ideal client. So the first thing that they see is this beautiful or semi-beautiful, doesn't have to be amazing, but this image that really says, this is who I am, this is what I do. Great. The next thing is your name and a picture. So a picture of your face, please. I would say like no beer, boobs, babies, doesn't have to be a professional photo, but just a picture of your face, looking happy, smiling. The amount of people I've worked with, they were like, they look so miserable. Like no one's going to want to go anywhere near you. Or it's like a picture of them with shades on a boat on holiday, and it's like, no. Anyway, so we are instead going to give a picture of us, your name. You have to use your own real name. Don't try and game the system by putting keywords and stuff in there, because LinkedIn hates that. And what I would say about LinkedIn against the other platforms is they are ruthless. If LinkedIn decide that's you're out. There is no negotiating with LinkedIn. They are ruthless. It's like scorched earth. They will take your account down and they will make sure you can never start one again on that IP address and stuff like that. They're pretty ruthless. So anyway, so use your real name, and you can verify using your passport, or you're kind of in the UK. I've verified. Does it make a difference? I don't think so. Is it me giving more of my information over to Bill Gates? Yes, blah, 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 right? So I don't think it makes a massive difference, but you can verify. But the most important bit of real estate on LinkedIn is the headline. So the headline is the 2 or 3 lines that go underneath your name. Now, this is so powerful. And the reason why it's so powerful is because you've got loads of room. You've got 270 characters. So it's like 2 to 3 lines. And this is where we put our elevator pitch. So this is where we want to talk to our potential client investor podcasters. So we want to speak to them about what's in it for them and how they get it. So really clear about when people see your name, there's a headline in it that says, this is who I'm for, this is why you should press on this headline, and this is what I'm going to give you, right? The reason why this is so powerful is because it follows you around everywhere. Now on Facebook, I love Facebook as well, don't get me wrong, I make a ton of money out of Facebook, but on Facebook, people have to follow the breadcrumbs back to come to your little measly profile that's about that big, right? So if you're engaging in groups or you're posting things, people only see your name, and then they have to click on your name to come back to see your bio and then the rest of your profile. On LinkedIn, your headline follows you. So everything you do, so when I started to do these 3 things, I'm still thrilled about it, as you can tell, a decade on, I'm still like, this is amazing. So this elevator pitch follows you around. So everything you do on LinkedIn, it's right there with you, which is it's literally like having a little billboard follow you around the internet. It's great, right? And it's also clickable. And as we know, if we can get people to click on something, if it says directly who it's for and what's in it for them and why they should click it, that is a micro expression of interest in itself. And the other thing which is wonderful about LinkedIn is that when they click it, they come to your profile, and the profile views is the only stat that I care about on LinkedIn. But the more of the 3 things a day strategy that you execute, the more your profile views will go up. So you will get a little tiny dopamine hit. It's only tiny, but you'll see that the work you're doing is increasing the amount of people looking at your profile. So we've got the header image, you've got your name, you've got your headline, which is crucial, but also don't overthink it. Just something there's better than nothing. It used to be your job title, so there's loads, you can make that loads better. And then underneath that, you have got 2,700 characters of about you section. It's massive. You know, it is a landing page. And what I do is I use that to talk directly to the client or directly to the person I'm trying to attract. So it's like, are you this person? Do you feel this way? Are these things happening? Do you want these things to happen? So for the podcasting, do you want to be exposed to X amount of people? Do you want to be seen as a thought leader in your field? Do you want to have new opportunities in America or whatever it might be, right? So really clearly talk about outcomes here. Well, this is like above the fold, as we would say. I know some of you will be marketers, so like above the fold, so the first bit before they click to read more, got to be all about them, not you. Yeah. Like no one cares that you're multi-award winning and you've done this and you've done that and you've done all these deals. Like no one cares until it's the final hurdle, you know, where they're looking for authority. So the first bit is all about them. And then you say, or you can say what you want, but I always say, if so, as in if you want these outcomes, if so, I can help. This is the offer. Yeah. So map out the offer. This is what it is. This is the deal, basically. This is what I can offer you. And then this is why I'm the person to do this. So this is a section towards the bottom about you, where you talk from the heart about who you are and why you do what you do. And that's really important because we've engaged them all the way along with this is for you, this is for you. But now we've got to really get them to buy into our story. And if I've learned one thing about entrepreneurs, we are terrible at talking about our own journey. We've learned nothing from X Factor. It's like everyone loves the journey, the story, you know. So really talking about all the things you could be doing, like why are you doing this one thing? So putting some personal information about you as well as your authority and all of that piece, yeah? Then tell them why now is the time to take action. So if you've got a podcast, this is easy, right? You know, because there's always a deadline coming up. Or it might just be you've got to take action now, or if it's for a property deal, it might be, you know, before the deal goes sort of thing. But give them some kind of reason to take action and then put a really strong call to action. I normally just say, send me a DM. The thing with the LinkedIn About section, although it's fantastic, it's not like rich HTML. So when you can't put links in and things like that. So it's only like, what you'd have to do is if you were going to put a booking link or something like that, people would have to copy and paste it and then you might lose them. So I always say, send me a DM for further info or whatever, or to start the conversation. And then it means that people stay inside of LinkedIn. So the next thing that they see, this is what I mean, right? So they've read all this stuff. I'm like, this is great. This is great. I want this. This is what it is. This is how I get it. The next thing they see is 3 featured posts. So what you do is you write a post out on LinkedIn like normal, and then you pin it to the featured section on your profile. So you choose the 3 most important things you want this person to see. Now, the 3 that I normally choose and I normally teach is to have a video of you talking to camera so people can see you, feel your energy, decide whether they love you or hate you, right? All that kind of stuff. So a video of you presenting to camera saying hi to this exact person, and you're talking about who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them and all that kind of stuff. But a version of you that they can see and feel. The second one, I would normally do some kind of lead magnet, so some kind of way for them to get onto your mailing list, which I'm sure you understand. If not, I can expand. And then the third one is normally some kind of social proof or testimonial from a client, ideally a video. So again, you've got this client, or you've got this potential client who's clicked on your headline and now is in this, you know, it's this kind of really rich environment of finding out about who you are and how you can help them and what other people say and how they can find out more. And then the cherry on the cake is the recommendation section. So like I've got about 475 recommendations and they all say how fantastic I am, right? Like that alone is a great bit of social proof that I've got so many, right? But testimonials, recommendations on LinkedIn are so powerful because they're really hard to fake. Whereas we can write anything we want on our websites, right? But on LinkedIn, the people that write them, their headlines are also clickable. So if I've got 474, I think I've got maybe 75 after today, then you can, and I would recommend that you do this, by the way. Please do go to my LinkedIn, look at my profile. It's all changing at the moment because I'm moving into a different area, but go and look at my profile and then go to my recommendations section and you will see 474 people, of which at least 50% have got a helping headline which talks to their ideal client. So you can go and see how other business owners have used my training and all the nice things they say about me. But you don't need to have that many. That's a bit of a dramatic demonstration. But if you have like 2, 3 to 5 strong recommendations from people within the industry or people that you know or people you've worked with or clients, this is really strong, powerful social proof. And you can also screenshot these and use them in your content as well. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the profile, but hopefully you can see and feel like how powerful that is to somebody who is interested. So they see you out in the wild and they click on it and then all of this stuff is available for them. It's a whole sales machine for your business, for the opportunity that you're offering. And it really makes me sad, like genuinely, that so many people are missing out on the opportunity because it's huge. But you only need to set it up once and it's done. Yeah. And setting it up, in my opinion, should only take you a couple of hours max. This is not something that you're going to spend a week doing. Yeah. Because it's going to be a movable, changeable feast anyway. You'll change it. You'll look at it in 6 weeks and be like, who wrote that? And you'll want to change it all. And that's normal. But let's just get it done. Set a timer, get it done in an hour and a half, and then it's done. And you can relax because that will do all of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to overcoming objections, attracting people and converting people from browser into connection and then into buyer, guest, investor, whatever it is you want them to convert into. And it's 24/7 globally. So you just can relax. All you need to do, just like all good websites, all you need to do now is drive traffic to it. So if you can get the right people onto that profile, it's going to do the job for you. So I have worked out through many years of laziness and wanting to get the maximum return on the minimum time investment. I feel like I have worked out the 3 most important things to do. And I feel like I've re-engineered this to make me seem more strategic than I am because it was just chance and laziness. So the first 2 things I don't get out of bed to do. So I do these every morning. I don't now, but because I'm maxed out at 30,000 connections and 40,000 followers. But when I was doing my LinkedIn and growing it from scratch, these are the 3 things I did. So first thing in the morning, before I got out of bed, I would go to LinkedIn on the app on my phone and I would search for and add 10 to 15 people. And I didn't particularly care who they were. If they were potential ideal clients, great. If they weren't, just people with money. That's the way I looked at it, right? People with money, people with businesses, great. Let's just add those because they might be a client or they might know somebody. And it's the same with you guys. You don't really know who wants to be on a podcast or you don't know who wants to be an investor. So we don't know that. So we're going to make a best guess. Yeah, if you can identify people by job title, so you only want to connect with property investors, professional property investors who are identified as that on their profile, then this is even easier. Yeah, because your headline talks about property investors and you're going to search for property investors. Does that make sense? But if you don't, it's okay. It still works. I work with a lot of like transformational coaches, people who help people lose weight, get better with the menopause, leave their husbands, start their businesses. So you don't need to, if it's something that people might be thinking about and not talking about on LinkedIn, it's okay. My methods still absolutely work. So just ask to connect with 10 to 15 people a day. If you don't want to do it every day, you've got about 115 people a week you can connect with. Now, this is being recorded 26 November 2024. Just to say, I don't know where LinkedIn's going to change that. In the old days, when I first started out, we used to add 100 people a day. I miss those days. And I used to train people to do it and they'd all like spit their coffee out because they couldn't believe it. But 100 people a day still only took 10 minutes because we're just going to do a search. So you can just search for people locally. Yeah, if you want to just build a local audience, or if you want to build an audience of people with money, just look at people with really good jobs. But if you want to do a people who are like, let's say, public speakers, then you can use their job titles. But you search using the search bar and then filter by second degree connection. The reason why is because when you search and filter by people, it'll give you everybody, including all your connections, but you can't obviously ask to connect with them. So filter by second degree connection, and that'll give you all the people who are at least one person away from you. And if you are new to LinkedIn, which I'm not sure any of you are, but you might be, if you are new at the beginning, it's like you've got no friends and you can't get any contacts. But the more friends you get, the more connections you get, the more this opens up. So for example, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, which Thomas has very kindly put, very glamorous assistant, put in the chat for me. If you go there and ask me to connect, please do write me a personalized connection request just to say you're from this session. You don't have to write anything particularly, just put icons and I'll know it's you. Yeah. And then I'll get rid of some people, RIP. I'll get rid of some people and add you guys in because obviously we know each other. But for everyone else, when you're asking to connect with people, I don't want you to write a personalized connection request of any kind. Not a generic copy and paste, and definitely not a researched, convoluted love letter like people been training people to do for years. So the two main reasons we don't do that, most importantly, is time. We haven't got time to do it. We haven't got time to do the research, and we don't know whether that person's going to accept us or not. We don't even know if they're active on LinkedIn or not. We don't even know if they're going to be a potential ideal client. So we don't waste time. We just ask them to connect. And the second reason is there's not really anything you can write to a stranger on the internet. It doesn't sound weird. Ask me how I know. I've been on LinkedIn for years and I've never had a personalized connection request. So I thought, wow, that's great. Either they've done loads of research, I think weird, stalker, or they've done like some crappy copy and paste and I just think lazy. So I just go with the no is better than I know. And the next thing to do after that is emotionally disconnect. Right? Because some people will accept, some people won't. It's not a reflection on you. Don't take it personally. Yeah. Some people won't accept with anyone who they don't know. Some people won't accept people that know. Some people won't accept, like, don't worry about other people's LinkedIn weirdness, right? And again, I've been around it for 10 years. Just ask people to connect. If they accept, great, you can be friends. If they don't, cool. Just withdraw it after about 6 weeks or so. So asking to connect with 10 to 15 people takes seconds. Yeah, you can do that in 2 minutes, if that. Literally, get your phone in bed, search for some people, second degree connection. 1, 2, just go down, press the little button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Done. So, and this is just going to do the most important thing in marketing, which is get you in front of new people. Just take a minute to think about what I've just said. Getting in front of 10 to 15 new people who've never even heard of you before. Yeah. And if you're fabulous like Cynthia and you've got a brand like Cynthia's that's invest like a goddess, and you're like, yes, please, but that's what you can do. Get in front of people who've never even heard of you before. I know you can't believe it, Cynthia, but you're new to me. I know. But you seem absolutely fabulous. But that's what I mean. So we've just literally met. But now I'm like, oh, I'm interested in what Cynthia's doing. And that is what I'm talking about. That is the magic of this. For free. Don't forget, you don't need premium. This is all for free. I feel like I could sell this for $1 million. I don't even know why it's free. So for free, you can get in front of 115 new people a week who never heard of you before. And they can see that landing page. They can see that all of that stuff you put in front of them. I mean, it's like a gift from the marketing gods. I don't know why people are so like surprised. I'm still excited about it because it's exciting. I think it's exciting. You can go and write down 10 brands, for example, you would love to work with. We call this gold list. Go and research all of those brands on LinkedIn. Go and see who they are and who works there, and go and ask to connect with all the CEOs if you want. They can say no. Quite often they say yes. So I got a client who's doing a new podcast on, it's called The Team Behind the Team, and it's about sports stars. And she's like, none of these people would want to connect with me. Yes, they do. Some of the most influential people and some of the biggest sports brands in the world that work there are accepting a connection request every day. They're like, because it's a business networking platform. So just don't ever be shy to send a connection request. So we're just connecting the connect button. We're not doing any messaging. I did explain that in a bit more depth, but just so we can move on to the next bit. So that's it. Step 1. add people every day. My daughter, she's 19. Since she's 17, she's run an agency just doing that bit for clients. She's got 42 clients. She's just bought herself a Mercedes. I'm getting a great Christmas present. I'm thrilled to bits. But the reason why she manages to run an agency doing it is because it's so easy to do. It's also easy not to do. So it's kind of like one of those things that is, but it's really, so don't waste it, because it resets every month. So don't waste those opportunities to get in front of new people. And don't think about the 10 years you've wasted or so far. Just going to move forward. So new people every day. That is the mantra. It's all about profile views. More profile views, more deals are done, more sales are made, more goodness happens. Second thing I need you to do, and this is still in bed, still don't need to get out of bed for this. Or you can do it while you are waiting outside of school, maybe to pick your kids up, or you are just waiting in the car park for something, or you got 5 minutes, or you're waiting for a client. I never wait for clients, I'm always 2 minutes late. But like, if you've got pockets of time in your day, this is when to do it. I know when you're watching Netflix at night, when you're scrolling Netflix, when you're scrolling your phone anyway, this is when to do number 2. So number 2 is engagement. And what I mean by that is I want you to do 10 to 15 comments on other people's posts in the feed every day. That's it. You can do as many of these as you want though. So if you're watching something particularly not very engaging, like Married at First Sight, where you obviously don't need to pay attention, but you can't not watch it, 'cause it's so fantastic. And if you have that in the States anyway, then you can do loads of those comments. But this is, again, some people get this straight away and some people struggle with it. What I mean by comments on other people's posts is by putting polite, generic, vanilla, supportive comments on other people's posts. Yeah, so they don't need to be ideal clients. You don't even need to be connected. Just whatever's in your feed, read what they are putting out and then give them a nice, supportive, kind comment. That is it. So this isn't about adding value or putting your opinion out there or debating things, or, you know, definitely not about talking about your business, definitely not about pitching, definitely not about arguing with people. Yeah, it's not about that. It's about posting, supporting the person who's posted, even though you don't know them, and they might have 1,000 comments, great, comment. They might have no comments, great, you get to be the first to comment. So try not to overthink, should I post or not, and what will this person think if I post? What people think when you post on their comments is great, thanks. And I know this because I've got communities of thousands of entrepreneurs that are all coming to me saying, why have I not got more comments on my posts? So they don't worry when people comment on their posts. They're really happy when people comment on their posts. So when we go and we do positive engagement, we're going to make people happy, but we're also, most importantly, going to put our headline out there so that hundreds of people can see. If you do 10 to 15, 20 comments, hundreds of people will see your headline who have never seen it before. So this is where we start to scale the strategy. And the more comments you do, the more clicks you'll get through to your profile. And remember, a click through to your profile is a micro expression of interest, because why would you click on Cynthia's amazing headline about investing with the goddess if you weren't remotely interested? You just wouldn't. Doesn't make sense, right? So when people see it out in the wild as a comment and they click on it, it's like, this is good, you know, and they can see these profiles going up. The more comments you do, the more profile views you get. If someone said to me once, Helen, what if it was life or death and you had to get 10,000 people like into a challenge or something? I would spend all day, every day doing comments on LinkedIn, because you can't get told off for it. There's only so much connection requests you can do. But LinkedIn wants engagement. So the more you do, the better. You're never going to get like restricted or blocked for that. So it's a really strong way to get people to come to your profile, which, remember, was the name of the game. So is everybody with me so far? Yeah, I've not said anything that you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. Yeah, so comments is a bit of a, like, don't know how long it was going to take, but most people can do comments, because you don't need to write an insightful comment. You're just being supportive. So like, somebody wins an award, congratulations on winning the award. I really love your dress. You know, like, oh, I've got a new job. Congratulations on the new job. I hope you have an amazing time there. So we're not trying to be like AI and being like very posed. We are like putting something, and using their name can be really powerful. You know, like, you know, well done on winning the award, Kat. Well done. You know, congratulations on the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, thank you. Exactly. And, you know, but it just feels more personal that way. And although for you, it might feel, this is the feedback I get, well, it just feels weird, just comment on stuff. Remember that They don't know that you're commenting on 10 to 50. They just see you comment on a post and be like, oh, thanks. And quite often you can get what I call like friends on LinkedIn, as in like they'll start commenting on your stuff on theirs, your stuff will come in their feed, and suddenly you're like, oh, got a new LinkedIn friend. And you might not be related in terms of the work you do, they might have been an idle client, but that's really not the point. The point is more people know you are, more people know what you do, right? So it's kind of like open heart, open mind networking. Same with accepting everyone who wants to connect with you. If anybody wants to connect with you, just accept them. Like, I don't know when we got so judgmental. People are like, I don't connect with everyone else. If they haven't got a picture, I don't connect. If I think they're going to spam me, I don't connect. If they're from certain countries, I'm like, this is gross. Like, just accept everybody. If they're a spammer, just ignore them. One thing you've got to get over, you are going to get DM'd and spammed on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, it's bad LinkedIn trainers that have done that, not me. But, you know, everyone's been told for years, you've got to send loads of DMs. So it's nice people, badly trained. If you want, you can send them a link to my training if you want. Be like, look, this is not working for you. Go and see Helen. But like, it just means that it's really about, we want more connections, not less. So if somebody spams you, just ignore them. If somebody's a weirdo, then block them. If somebody gets on your nerves, then unfollow them. You know, but don't automatically reject people because you've had one look at their profile and you decided they're not a good fit for you. Because I just think it's the wrong, personally, I think it's the wrong mindset. I think we should want to be welcoming to everybody. And also, like spammers and recruiters and like SEO people, they're the best connected people on LinkedIn because they're spammers and they connect with everybody. So great, you be friends with them. And then when you do your searches, your second degree will go out massively. So when you connect with me and I accept you and I get rid of somebody, probably a spammer or a weirdo that I accepted 10 years ago, then when you do a search and you search by second degree connections, it's automatically gone up by 30,000 people just by being connected to me. So the more people we're connected to, the better our search results get. So 1 and 2, yeah, we don't need to get dressed for this, which is great. And we don't need to spend a lot of time doing it, which is great. Because what I really want for you is to get up, do your LinkedIn, forget about it, get on with your day. So 3rd thing, which I know you're all going to go, is posting. Now, you don't have to post on LinkedIn to get leads. Like I said before, just adding people every day will get you leads on LinkedIn, but it'll take a hell of a long time, possibly. When you add in the comments, it speeds things up, the visibility. And then when you start putting out content, now we're motoring. Yeah, now so it's that growth, engagement, conversion. So the content, now I will caveat this bit with you can post whatever you want on LinkedIn. I am not the goddess of LinkedIn content. I don't make the rules. I don't care about the rules. I am not going to tell you what to post, what time to post, when to post, how long your post should be, whether you should use an image or not, whether you should video or not, whether you should hashtags or not. Do whatever you want. Yeah. I am not in the business of gaming the LinkedIn algorithm. I don't actually believe anybody, apart from a handful of people at LinkedIn, understand how the LinkedIn algorithm works. And actually, if I was going to tell you I had an idea, that would be really disingenuous of me because I've got no idea how the LinkedIn algorithm works. But what I do know is the more profile views we get, the more money we make. So instead of worrying about all of those kind of nuances, what I ask people to do is post. Karen's going to go, no, you don't. But this is my new advice, is to post at least twice a day. Yeah. And the reason why I used to talk about 4 pillars of content and I still do, but this is what I think is the best way for me to deliver to somebody who's not on LinkedIn. So I want you to put out the offer or the pitch or the ask every single day on LinkedIn without fail. Yeah. I want you to just post about the thing that you sell or the thing you want people to do. Yeah. I just want you to do that as an absolute non-negotiable. But then I want you to scaffold that one post a day with other content. So different types of content I'd like to put around that. So it's not just, you know, posting your offer, although you can do that because there are no rules, like I said, is stories and posts about you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, what's your background, what's your story, anything like that is great. What's your hopes and dreams for the future? Anything that gets us to know you better. This is our personal profile. People buy from people and all of that jazz. But really, I see so much content on LinkedIn, which is so, well, just crap and boring, but it's because it's like professional and I'm talking about my business all the time. So like stuff about you. And really, personally, this is what I think really helps people get to know you. like really like, oh, this is a person, I'm buying from a person, or I'm working with a person, or I'm reaching out to a person, rather than I'm a brand and I'm hiding behind my brand. So stories about you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, business stuff, personal stuff, pictures, videos, I don't care. Yeah. So stuff like that is great for LinkedIn. The other type of content that I love to see, and I think really helps, is video in terms of like regular, again, I'm not making up rules, but let's say once a week, maybe just video content of you talking to camera. So it's in the feed. So people see you as a living, breathing, moving person. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying, right, you must create a video series and post it every single day. And what I mean is just show up as almost like, you know, you've got a TV channel here, get on the TV. Because then again, it just brings you to life, to personalize you as a person. So I really like video content. I love to see social proof. So social proof for me is just a screenshot of a testimonial. That's it. I won't overthink it past that. So what I do is I screenshot a testimonial and just say, I really love this testimonial from this person, tag them in, and that's it, really. And that becomes social proof. If you've only got one piece of social proof, just use the same one over and over again. Nobody cares. Nobody reads it anyway. But what social proof does is it shows that you are who you say you are and you can do what you say you can do. So as long as we've got our offer going out every day, and that should just become habit, really, because that's really what we want LinkedIn to do is to get people to see the offer and take action. Now, I normally teach entrepreneurs who have got, products and services, but the idea of the offer post or the request post or the call to action post, if you like, is not for it to make that thing happen in the moment when you post it. I think people get this very wrong. So they go, put my offer out on LinkedIn, nothing happened. And it's like, of course nothing happened. You've only been on there for 5 minutes. Nobody knows you. Nobody likes you. Nobody trusts you, right? They've not seen all the other content. They've not seen the consistency. They've not seen enough of you. And like I always say, what would you say to your granny if she said, I've just given a stranger off the internet who I met last week £3,000? You'd be like, no, granny, that's ridiculous. So you have to understand this is about building up trust, getting people to know you, like you, trust you. And that's where that scaffolding content comes in around the ask. But the ask is really important. It goes out every day because that's the billboard. That's the advert on the telly. That's that's what Helen does. So like I pivoted into ideal client attraction work as part of the LinkedIn stuff, but really focusing on that. And I do like a session, a co-creation session on that. I post about it every single day. Yeah. So some days I sell 3, some days I sell none. Some days I might sell 1, then 2 days I don't sell any. My job is not to worry about whether I'm selling off every post. My job is to make sure I have posted about my ideal client sessions today. And if I haven't in fact, I usually post about them twice a day because I'm like, when I get up and then before I go to bed, I'm like, oh yeah, I post about that again. The more I post asking for the business, the more business I get. And it's exactly the same on here. But I sell a lot of my asks because I've been so consistent and I've been showing up for so long. So there's no shortcut to that, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. So it's a bad thing because it's like, oh, Helen, no, when is it going to work? You told me it was going to work, and it is going to work, but you will have to do the work first and have a bit of patience. Normally you'll start to see traction within a few weeks, and we'd like to see you getting inbound inquiries within sort of 6 to 8 weeks as a very broad brush. Obviously you've got to do the work, you've got to have a great ask, you've got to be a good person, all that kind of stuff. But they're kind of broad brush. And that is quite a long time to be consistently doing something and getting no dopamine hit, right? So you can watch your profile views going up, which is cool. And you can see who's viewed you, which is cool for the first 3 people, unless you have premium, and then you can see everybody. But if you can decide whether that's worth, I think it's about £50 in the UK, whatever it is in the States, I don't know. If you've got money to burn, you've got loads of cash flow, then yeah, get premium because you can see more stuff, but you don't need it to make my stuff work. But it's the consistency. So what happens is, what most people do, which is what is a great thing for you guys, is they go, right, I'm going to do LinkedIn. They set it up, they do it for a bit, nothing happens, and they stop. And with LinkedIn, when you stop, it stops. You know what I mean? It's like, you've got to keep your foot on the gas for this to work. It's not something that you can just set up and forget about it. You've got to keep driving the traffic. You've got to keep getting people to look at it. And those 3 things, so adding new people, doing your comments, and putting out some content, and I don't mean you've got to be a copywriter. You're not got to be a thought leader. Like literally, it's just average content at best. Then that is driving the traffic every day. Those 3 levers: new people, engaging with the existing people, and then asking people to buy. Those are the three things that will bring the boys to the yard. That's the milkshake. So that's it, guys. Honestly, that's it.
Wow. Am I the only one feeling super bad about my LinkedIn profile? And I think I'm not going to be the only one. I already put here on my tasks for next week to get applying this. I just have a few questions, and I want to give room for people that have other questions. I have a bunch of questions, but I'll try to keep myself short here. About like verifying your LinkedIn profile, right? I know that in Instagram, it's sort of, there's a little bit more complicated situation going on there. On LinkedIn, can you just go through, can you just guide us through the process? Because it looked really simple by the way that you're saying.
It was really simple. So I'm in the UK, so I don't know if it's different elsewhere, but here we have biometric passports. So it's got a chip inside of the passport. So what you had to do, which was really weird, I felt like I was in the future. So you say, I want to verify, and then you go to this thing and it takes a picture of your face. And I think you have to say something as well. And then you have to get your passport and scan your phone on it like that until it goes beep. And then it stole all my data. I don't know. I feel like it's just like the biggest scam ever. Like, but anyway, so yeah, I told Alexa I was doing it, and then I put it on because I don't really care about my data. But that was it. It was very simple. It took 5 minutes. Now, the reason why some people struggle is because it has to be the same name. So the name on LinkedIn has to be the same as your passport. And for some people, a lot of different reasons, they use nicknames or shortened names or maiden names. So I verified just to see what the process was like. Has it made a difference? I don't think so. So that's all I know.
Yeah, I think it just looks more professional, right? If you have that tick next to you. My other question is about like the recommendations. Like, I think I have like 3 recommendations. Like, how did you get so many recommendations? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, I mean, I'm a LinkedIn person getting recommendations on LinkedIn, so I've got a bit of a head start. But what I would say is the first step to get more recommendations is to give them. So one of the tasks I give my students is to go and give 10 recommendations. Yeah. So go and give recommendations to people that you know you've worked with or you're associated with. Now, you don't need to have worked with someone to give them a recommendation. So if it's, say, somebody that you know, podcast is a great example. So say you've been on someone's podcast or they've been on yours, you could give them a recommendation and say, this person is super passionate about what they do. And if you are thinking about XYZ, I recommend you message them. So you're not saying, I've worked with this person and they're totally legit. And it's just, I met them on a podcast and they seemed great. You should check them out. Yeah. Or you've met them at an event, you seem great. And then obviously all your clients, you should be giving recommendations to. Work with this client, they're amazing, blah, blah, blah. So the more you give, the more you get. So that's the first thing, is to give more recommendations. The second thing is to ask for them. So when I finish a client call, I do a client call, I'll say, while they're still on a high and they're like absolutely buzzing, I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'll say, look, I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a recommendation on LinkedIn. And when you do, as you know, because I've talked about it in the call, I'll screenshot it and I'll share it and I'll tag you in and I'll say thanks. So they'll get exposed to my big audience and I'll get to use their social proof. So it's a win. So I always ask for it. And also, while I'm doing events like this, so you beat me to it, I'll say, if you've enjoyed it, I'd really love for you to give me a recommendation on LinkedIn, and I'll screenshot it and I'll share it, right? So it's kind of like asking in the right environment, if that makes sense. So like people that you know, people that you feel comfortable asking, just putting out there, everyone who knows me giving me a LinkedIn recommendation is probably not going to get there. And you can also privately ask people to give you recommendations. So you can go to their profile if they are clients, or if you know they would give you one, you can actually go to their profile and there's a drop down and you can say, ask them to recommend you, basically, or ask for a recommendation. So it will come up on their feed, I don't know where it comes up, email, DMs, whatever, and they'll say, can you give, Helen a recommendation? So there's a few different ways of doing it.
Nice. Yeah, but just asking goes a long way, right? Jeff is asking here, I'm just going to ask the question for you, Jeff. Is it okay to revise existing LinkedIn, or should I create a new profile?
So no, definitely not. And there's a couple of reasons. So one, the longer established your LinkedIn profile is, the better. like as far as I'm aware, in terms of a bit like websites, just mean it's got a bit more authority, better Alexa rank and things like that. But that's one reason. But the other reason is your LinkedIn profile from your old life, your old jobs, is probably full of people, and that's what we want. The more people, the merrier. And it's also quite often full of like goodwill, people who know you and like you, Jeff. Like they're like, oh, Jeff's such a cool guy. And now, I used to work with him at this thing, and now he's doing this thing, and that's great. And we should catch up, or we should do things. Or someone might ask a question, be like, oh yeah, you want to speak to Jeff? He's doing this now. So it really is like old school networking, but like on steroids, because you can do it all digitally and you don't need to think about it. So yes, keep all your old people, work your old network, reach out to everyone in your black book and be like, I'm doing this thing now. Like, if you know anyone, send them my way, sort of thing. So like, if you know them, so there's loads of different ways you can use those old contacts, but ultimately the bigger your audience, the better. Size matters, Jeff, when it comes to your LinkedIn audience. Sure.
And can you see the do you want me to read the I'll just read
I can see the new
you.
ones coming through. No, I can see the new ones coming through. Just didn't know if I'd missed any further up. So I think I did read further up actually. Someone saying, oh yeah, Hoffit, can we create 2 different profiles for 2 different businesses? No. So this again is a really common question because a lot of people have multiple businesses and stuff. So you can't, and then well, that's a lie. You can technically, you can set up, because we're using personal profiles. You can set up 2, but LinkedIn hates it and will shut you down, and it's a massive risk. So you don't take that. I mean, that would not be my advice. My advice is always to pick one and just focus on that for now, not forever. Just be like, LinkedIn, I'm going to focus on this. Facebook, I might focus on that, or Instagram, I might focus on that. Or maybe you've got a business with 2 sides. So property is quite common. We need investors and we need properties. So maybe use Facebook for your properties, LinkedIn for your investors, that kind of thing. So just making decisions. But if you've got multiple businesses, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to market 2 at once. But sometimes if they're related, you can do like an 80-20 rule. So you talk about one business 80%, there's almost like a PS about the other one. Or you can do what I used to do, which was profile cycling. So every 3 to 6 months, I'd change to a different one. But that is stressful and messy and not really recommended. But there's different ways to do it, but you can't have 2 profiles, sadly. Okay, so I've answered Jeff. Yes, you should all recommend each other, defo. The other thing is when you ask people for recommendations, do not follow it up. Because if someone doesn't want to recommend you, that's fine. Yeah, and don't take it personally if they don't want to recommend you. Okay, so Marcelo, this is a good question and I don't know the answer really, but if I've got 2 avatars in 2 languages, can I create a new profile? So the same answer is no. But which language to use? I did get asked this recently, and I don't really know, other than just picking the avatar. You'll pick an avatar and use that language for now, not forever. I mean, I'm sorry. I wish we could. I wish deeply we could have LinkedIn business pages that worked and operated like personal profiles, but they just don't. Business pages are terrible. You can't do anything with them. You can't connect with people. You can't engage with people. You can't add new people. So they're just like a static thing you can put content out on. But you can have multiple business pages and you can share content from multiple business pages off a personal profile is another way of sort of doing it, but it gets a bit messy.
Now, so in terms of the languages, what I see at least on some profiles happening is that every single post that they do, they use like their primary language and then they use like the second language. So every post has kind of like a translation. They do the same for their bio as well. So maybe that's what you can do. What you can do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for sure. So next question: engaging with other people's content. Scroll down and do it randomly, or better to focus on my niche. So I actually think it's better to scroll down and do it randomly, because if you're trying to focus and you're trying to think before you do it, it just takes up like 10 times more time. However, if you want to be really strategic and be like, look, I'm only going to comment, then you can absolutely do that. Like I said, this is your LinkedIn profile. You can do with it what you want. My advice would always be just to do it randomly, because I just want to get it done and get on with my day. Like, that is my attitude's always been, what's the MVP here? Like, what's the minimum I need to do? Can you do more? Yes. Can you be more strategic? Of course. There's other things that I talk about around, you can connect with people like journalists and influencers in your niche. You can look at people who work with the same people you want to work with, but in a different way, and try and connect with those and have conversations with those people. You can be very specific about the companies you want to work with or the brands you want to work with. Or like, say you wanted to get on a podcast, you could be very specific about looking for certain podcast hosts and things like that. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. But I want to give you the easiest way, I believe, to get it really rocking and rolling, so it's growing and it's engaging and people are coming to you wanting the thing that you do. And then, and only then, we do like the sort of the nuanced stuff at the end.
Awesome, guys. Is there any last questions or comments or praises or LinkedIn recommendations?
Praises. I love a bit of praise on a Tuesday night. Praise before I go. Oh, no, it's been great. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks, Karen, for bringing the notes and the vibes. I love it. So yeah.
I didn't know I didn't know Helen was going to be the next guest speaker. And when Tomas said, we've got Helen Pritchard, I went, I'm in her mastermind.
I have my ways. I
just had her on something else. So I can totally vouch for Helen's strategy. My LinkedIn totally blew up. I have to admit, since being at Icons, I have got very lazy, but I do my posts every day. I have slowed down on adding, but it's just such an easy way to connect with more people. You all want to grow your audience, whatever you're doing, whether you're on a podcast or not, or you're just doing real estate, irrelevant. You want to grow your audience to do business, and it's free. It's free. So those tasks are so easy to do, literally 30 minutes a day. And so, I don't know why I haven't been. Yeah, we all can all get complacent, right?
Yeah,
but when you do it, you see it grow. When you do it, you see it grow. And it's right. You do get DMs. I don't put my links in. Yes, I do put my links for my podcast, but otherwise I do a DM me and it works. You have people coming to you. So it is attraction marketing at its best.
Thanks, Karen. Didn't even pay Karen a penny for that.
No, you've not even connected with me. We're not connected on LinkedIn.
At least I didn't receive anything yet, Ellen. I'm just checking my account. You have my Revolut, right? So do you have anything you want to promote so we can be on our way to get our LinkedIn's in check?
So it is Black Friday this week, and we've got like a mega Black Friday sale. So actually, you're not honored, but this is the last LinkedIn training I'm doing, possibly ever. So like you got to be the last one of these. I don't even know, thousands of these over the years, but everything LinkedIn is all going on sale basically. So we've got mini courses, we've got the mastermind, we've got 5-day challenge recordings, we've got turn your LinkedIn into cash machine profile stuff. Like there's loads. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see it this week, or you sign up for anything on emails, you'll see it this week. So or just send me a DM and I'll send you the details. It'll be going live on Friday, but we've got a wait list. So that would be great for all you guys that are live and you want to see what's going on. There's loads of great offers coming out for LinkedIn stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ellen. And happy Thanksgiving week to every single one of you.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll catch up. Thank you guys for coming.
Lovely. Thank you guys. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.